So, if you think of eBay as just some old-school auction site, you might want to take another look. Seriously. The e-commerce pioneer has been making this quiet but honestly super powerful comeback. And today, we're going to break down exactly how their focused, tech-led strategy completely turned the tables for them in 2025.
Let's just start with the number that had Wall Street doing a double take. A massive 15% year-over-year revenue growth in Q4. In a market this ridiculously competitive, that kind of jump isn't just good, it's a huge statement.
And hey, don't just take it from me. The company's own CEO, Jamie Iannone, called 2025 a milestone year. He made it super clear that these results were all about their strategy. In other words, this wasn't just some lucky break. Nope. This was a carefully laid plan, and it was working perfectly.
All right, so let's pull back a bit and look at the full picture of just how massive this milestone year really was for them.
Yeah, this stellar performance holds up across the entire year. We are talking about nearly $80 billion in gross merchandise volume. That's the total value of everything sold on the platform. On top of that, revenue cruised past $11 billion, earnings per share shot up by 13%, and they even returned about $3 billion to their shareholders. This is so much more than one good quarter. This is a company absolutely firing on all cylinders.
So the big question is, how on earth did they do it? What's the engine that's actually driving all this growth? Well, it all boils down to this super deliberate three-part strategy that is literally reshaping their entire business from the inside out.
And just look at how significant this shift in strategy is. Those three priorities, they now make up a full 2/3 of eBay's entire business. So these aren't just little side projects, no way. This is the new core of the company.
Okay, so what are we talking about here? What are these pillars? Well, first, you've got focus categories. Think high-value stuff like luxury watches, collectibles, and car parts. Second, they're breathing new life into C2C, or consumer-to-consumer, which is really getting back to their roots of people selling to people. And third is re-commerce, this huge booming market for pre-owned and refurbished goods. And get this, re-commerce, all by itself, now makes up over 40% of everything sold on eBay. That's huge.
But a great strategy needs some serious fuel to get going. And for eBay, that high-octane fuel is artificial intelligence. They're using AI to completely reinvent the experience for their sellers, making it easier than it has ever been to list an item for sale.
Just take their new magical listing tool. The idea behind it is just brilliantly simple. You literally just snap a photo of what you want to sell, and the AI does all the heavy lifting. It writes the title, the description, it even suggests a price, and bam, your item is live.
And this right here shows you the heart of their innovation. Think about the old way. All that tedious, manual work. The new way, AI agents just build the whole listing for you, all from a couple of pictures. For anyone out there who's ever thought about selling something but just gave up because it was too much of a hassle, well, this is a total game changer.
And hey, the proof is in the pudding, right? This new process has led to a more than 50% increase in the rate of new listings being created. It's really that simple. When you make it that easy for people, they sell more stuff.
But, building cool new tools internally is only part of the story. To really lock down its future, eBay is also making a huge bet on where e-commerce is headed next. And that meant they had to look outside the company. Which brings up one of the most critical questions for any big established tech company, right? How do you actually get the next generation of users to care about you? We're talking about the Gen Z and millennial shoppers who pretty much define all the market trends. So what was eBay's answer? Well, it came in the form of a $1.2 billion all-cash deal to acquire Depop, which is a super popular marketplace for circular or pre-loved fashion. And honestly, the strategic fit is just so obvious when you put them side by side. Where eBay has a super broad audience, Depop is laser-focused on Gen Z and millennials. Where eBay is kind of the everything store, Depop is the place for secondhand fashion. But here's the real kicker. While eBay's US growth was a very solid 10%, Depop's was a mind-blowing 60%. It's the perfect puzzle piece that brings a huge new audience and just explosive growth into the fold. Okay, so with all this incredible momentum behind them, plus a major acquisition in the works, what does the road ahead actually look like for 2026? Well, the company's own forecast is incredibly bullish. For just the first quarter of 2026, they're projecting gross merchandise volume somewhere between $21.5 and $21.9 billion. That's a huge signal that they expect this momentum to keep right on rolling. The confidence is definitely there. And when you look at the entire year, the message is all about sustained momentum. eBay is basically telling everyone they expect 2026's growth to look a whole lot like the amazing performance they just had in 2025. They're signaling that this comeback isn't just some temporary blip, this is the new standard.
So, all of this leaves us with a really fascinating final thought. You've got eBay combining its massive scale with cutting-edge AI, and this sharp new focus on re-commerce. The really big question now is, can this classic tech giant use that powerful combination to not just reinvent itself, but to actually become the defining marketplace for the entire circular economy? All the pieces are certainly falling into place.